You guys didn't buy your tickets on time. How you doing, brother? Can you see that?
Hi guys, we're gonna get started in 5 minutes, so give us just a couple minutes. We'll start with you guys, and we'll have Dr. Kametz start off our How to Recover from Anything Part 2.
Believe me, I can't have it because I'm blind. That's it. And I got it on my feet. One was really bad. And the other one, fruitful, they work. Yeah. Wow. Can you get through? Yeah. Oh, okay. Hey, those things come in handy. I had one, it was red.
This is good red, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Yeah.
gonna go on live?
We're live right now.
All right. Anybody here on Facebook? You guys on Facebook at all? If you are, if you would like, please share tonight. We're going live on Facebook. So if you'd like, go on to Facebook, just share this, let everybody know about it. We've had people tune in from around the world on some of these talks. So I'll give you guys just a moment to do that. Let's get started. All right, so this is a continuation from the last talk we did. Eric, hello, good to see you. And it's called How to Recover from Anything Part 2. So there's no such thing as an uncurable condition. There's uncurable people, but there's not uncurable conditions, because no matter what you have, somebody else had it, and I guarantee you somebody else got well from it. So the question becomes, how do we become someone that's curable? And that's what we're going to go over today. But before we do that, sometimes you have to kind of break down your old belief system, kind of blow it up before you actually learn some new information here. So this is something that's pretty interesting here. These are just facts. There's no judgment on anything that we do in this office, too. So back in the mid-'80s, vaccinations became very common. Of course, the more vaccinations we got, the more people got hurt from it. And then in about the mid-'80s, what they did was they started the Congress started a compensation fund for people that were injured by vaccinations. And they actually set up a separate court system for them too. Now, over the years, these things, they've paid out over $3 billion over the last 30 years, which is virtually nothing over 30 years. But here's the thing. If you're paying something, you're clearly guilty. There's a problem with it. But with the vaccine courts, what they've done is there's no criminal repercussion for anything that they do. So, for instance, if you give your kid a vaccine and he dies from it, you can, if you're lucky enough, you can get to go to this court and have your trial heard. And if it is heard and you actually win the case, the cost of the price of a dead kid today is $250,000. And that's all you'll ever be awarded. Now, if your kid is maimed or injured from the vaccine and they need to be taken care of the rest of their life, there's also funds for that too. A woman in San Diego sometime last year, this happened with one of her kids, and she got a settlement. Now this kid's going to need care for his entire life. Her settlement was $55,000. Okay? So when I want to look at the financial benefits behind this too. Right now, the vaccine market in the U.S. is about $24 billion. By the year 2020, they expect it to be $61 billion. $3 billion over 30 years is a drop in the bucket to this. So if there's no criminal prosecution and the financial incentives is great, there's no incentive for any of the companies to build vaccines, first of all, that actually work, but that are safe either. So I want to go into this now. Now, this right here is the two. So what we're doing here is we're really trying to blow up your belief system in three aspects. That number one is you can trust the government officials to do things in your best interest. The second thing is we want to say the doctors in your best interest, and then the third thing is the pharmaceutical companies. The point is it's not to piss on them. It's there to say you got to start taking health into your own hands and make your own decisions instead of letting somebody else do it. This is right here is the 2016 Performance Recognition Program from Blue Cross and Blue Shield. And this is really a bribe program or a kickback program. And I don't know if you guys recently have heard, but there's a lot of children that are getting kicked out of they're getting kicked out of their pediatric practices by their doctors because the parents aren't. They're choosing not to vaccinate their kids. And you're like, well, what is it? What concern of it is the pediatrician whether you do that? It's financial. So right here it says that if 63% of the kids that are eligible for vaccination are vaccinated in your office, you get a $400 kickback at the end of the year. So if that goes to 62.9, guess what you don't get? $400. And in practice with 1,000 pediatric patients, who's good with math? Somebody that's good with math, or even 100, I can do that one. That's 40,000. Is that 400,000 or 40,000? But these numbers are absolutely huge. So it's not necessarily doing things in your best interest, and you have to understand this. The insurance companies, you can't trust either. So now that we've blown that up, let's talk a little bit about something that's really, really important. And we're not even into our talk yet, but we're going to talk about change right now. And how do you change? Because every time you learn something, you're developing new neural connections in your mind. And that's how learning takes place. So, right now, all of us are the sum of our past experiences, right? That's how we've learned things. And we have all these connections going on, and they're very strong. As a matter of fact, these connections are so strong that they are actually bodily habits right now. So for instance, I can adjust better than I can explain how to do it. Because it is so ingrained in me that my brain is not really the memory, it's my body being the memory now. And that's what habits are. So let me explain how change happens. You have these habits right now that you've been formed with, these belief system that you're in right now. And they're really, really strong, and they make you really comfortable. Tonight I'm going to give you some information that's probably completely counter to that. And guess what you're going to do? You're going to develop these new neural pathways. But they're going to be really weak. Okay? But you can change them. Let me give you, friends, let me explain how this change works. Let's say this were a weight loss seminar and you guys wanted to lose 50 pounds. So, or Eric gained 50 pounds, but a muscle, right? So you want to lose 50 pounds. So I give you all these ideas, all these tips on how to exercise, how to diet, make sure you get a chiropractic care, make sure your thyroid's working, all these great tips. And you come out of here, you are fired up. You don't even see yourself as this 50-pound overweight person anymore. You see yourself as this person that is 50 pounds lighter, healthy and strong. That's what you see yourself as now. And you feel that. You got that in you. You are being that person right now. So what do? You start acting like it. You go home, and what do? The next couple weeks, you're on paleo, and then you maybe even go ketogenic. You're working out every other day. And at the end of the first week, you lose 2 pounds. Awesome. I am on the way to my goal. Second week, you lose 5 pounds. You're 2 weeks into it, you've already lost 7 pounds out of your goal. Third week, you lose another 3 pounds. By the end of the first month, you're down 10 pounds. And you are fired up. You are doing everything you need to do. You are living this person. You are so emotionally attached to this vision of you 50 pounds lighter. And then month 2 comes around. And the first week in month 2, you actually gain 3 pounds back. So now you're at net 7. But it doesn't matter. You're still doing the right things. You're still living over here. You're believing this is happening right now. And the next week comes up, and you lose and you actually gain another 3 pounds back. And at the end of the second month, all of a sudden, now you're at ground zero. You've been at this 2 months, and you've lost no weight. Here's where a change happens. It's very comfortable to go back to these neurologic connections over here that are comfortable. You know what? It's okay being 50 pounds overweight. You're not going to do it anyway. You're not going to be able to lose the weight anyway. This is very comfortable. Do you know why? Because that's what you see and that's what you feel. The change happens when you stay right here. When you're like, the hell with it. My vision's here. I'm going to be strong. I'm going to lose 50 pounds. And you stay right here and you stay in that state of being. What do? Over here this time, now you're like, oh, I'm not going to eat healthy. It doesn't matter anyway. I dieted 2 months and I didn't lose any weight. But this change over here happens when you say, no, I'm doing the right thing. I'm going to hang in there. And guess what happens? At the end of the third month now, you're down 10 pounds. At the end of the fourth month now, you're down 20 pounds. And by the end of the 6th month or the end of the year, you're down 50 pounds. You hit your goal. And what have you done? All these neural pathways over here that you were so strongly bound to, you've broken them. You're not that person anymore. You're this person over here, and you're 50 pounds lighter. Focus. You're either going to be motivated by fear, which will take you back to who you were, or by faith, which is where you want to go. Stay focused on that vision. I'm going to give you information here tonight that is going to allow you to change your perspective of health. And we're going to talk about life. We're just going to take this a little bit deeper here. And Albert Hubbard, I don't know if any of you guys know who he was. He's a philosopher, a marketer, he's an artist. And he was actually a mentor of B.J. Palmer. And his definition of life is just one damn thing after another. But we're going to be a bit more philosophic today at this event. And we're going to talk about what life means as a chiropractor. So to understand life, you really need a starting point. And chiropractors, we start at this point called the major premise. And the major premise, this is the first principle of chiropractic, is that there is a universal intelligence in all things that gives to it its actions and its properties and maintains it in existence. So pretty much we say there's an intelligence running the entire universe. And this is pretty easy to see. Most people would agree with this. The planets, they are in perfect orbit. Right now we can actually predict 400 years in the future exactly where Jupiter is going to be, because it goes to a set of laws. So it's intelligent. Can you imagine what would happen if the universe were not bound by a set of intelligent laws? It would be complete chaos. And planets clashing together. But it's not just at that universal level, it's also at a very atomic level too, right? There are elements in this wall. Maybe there's some carbon in this wall, and I think carbon has 6 electrons. And they are in perfect orbit. They are in perfect space in their orbit. Do you know what happens when you try to split an atom from its condition? Absolute chaos. You get the atom bomb. So there are laws that this universe operates to. And this is the beginning of chiropractic. This is where we start. So I want to go into life here for a little bit and what really classifies life. So there's a few characteristics of life that we'll talk about. Number one, living things can metabolize. What's that mean? They can take in food and they can create energy from it. So they're taking in chemicals, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and they can create energy from it. That's one of the aspects. The second thing is growth. Living things grow. They can take in food, and either the one cell can get bigger or it can reproduce or have more cells. So things that are living grow. Another aspect of life is, of course, reproduction. We just mentioned that. But the ability to maintain a stable environment and respond to the environment. Pretty much adapt. So for instance, you native Californians, if you would go outside right now without a jacket, you would adapt to the cold temperature, and you would, why do you shiver? To raise up the body temperature. Right? That's what life does. If your body was being overwhelmed with bacteria right now, your body would also raise the temperature to adapt to that and try to kill off the bacteria. So these are just some aspects of life. So now we get to, well, what is the chiropractic meaning to life? This is another principle of chiropractic. The chiropractic meaning to life is the expression of intelligence through matter. Chiropractic meaning of life, expression of intelligence through matter. Let me explain this a little bit. You have something that is intangible, intelligence. And then you have matter, something that is very tangible. How do you link up the two? You need something. Well, we have that covered too. There's also a principle of chiropractic that's called the object of intelligence is to create force. And when you have this triune, this is the triune of life according to chiropractors, you have the union of intelligence with matter via force. And that's the triune of life in chiropractic, okay? We're going to keep going on this so it'll make it a little bit simple. But here's the thing. Now you have the infinite matted with be finite, okay? What that means is you're not your parts, man. You're not your parts. You're not your chemicals. You're more than that. So this is the breakdown of the human body. This is about 99% of the chemicals in your body. You're mostly you're 75% water, okay? But this is what you are. 65% of your body is oxygen, right? 18% carbon. So here's just some interesting statistics. Based on this, you have enough raw materials, you have enough carbon in your body to create 9,000 lead pencils. Pretty cool. Right? So you die and you rot, that's what they can use it for. You have, here's a good one. You have enough sulfur in your body to get rid of all the fleas on your dog. Right? Anybody see Fight Club here? Anybody see that movie? Remember when he's making soap with human fat? Well, you got 7 pounds, you got enough fat in your body for 7 bars of soap. Okay? That's true, that does happen. And not only that, you got enough iron in your body to make 1 decent sized nail. That's your elements. That's what you're made up of. Let's take this further. So what's this mean? If you add up all those elements in your body, the carbon, the hydrogen, the oxygen, matter-wise, you're pretty much worthless. $17 is all you're worth. Now, I ask you, would you not pay more than $17 for your wife, for your kids? Hourly wage, it's $17. That's like an hourly wage. Mary, how much would you pay for Laurel? Unlimited? You want it? If you didn't have it, would you go get it? Of course, because you're not paying for her parts. What are you paying for? You're paying for the chiropractic expression of life. The chiropractic meaning to life. The expression of life through matter. Intelligence. The innate intelligence in your body right now, that's part of that experience. What it does is it takes these chemicals, dead, raw chemicals, and creates them and organizing them into living tissue. And living tissue, yes, that's what can adapt to the environment. That's what, if you get cold, the living tissue can start to shiver. By making proper tissue, you can start taking in nutrients and creating energy from it, creating more cells. It's that innate intelligence in that matter is what you're paying for, okay? And we have people who come into the office and they'll be like, yeah, I want to stabilize. I want to get stable. I want to do stabilization. They're like, oh my gosh, I didn't expect it to cost this much. What's your life worth, man? We're not dealing in parts. When we set prices in the office and stuff like that, and those are all business decisions. What do you pay for when you come into the office? You ever think of that? You're not paying for your life. Your life's infinite, man. There's no value on it. I would give anything for my wife. I don't borrow anything for her. What are you paying for? You're paying for this office building. You're paying for my student loans. You're paying for... Do you know that's 2017 Employee of the Year in Carlsbad back there, according to the chief? You think she comes cheap? Right? You pay for the ability for me to provide my service, but you don't pay for what you're getting. Your life is so much more beyond that. Let's talk about the expression of life here. It really comes down to how much life are you expressing. In the triune of life, we have the triune of life that says life is force and intelligence and matter united. And then we have, from that, we deduce that the chiropractic meaning of life is the expression of life through matter. I mean, how would you even know that intelligence even existed if you didn't have matter? You couldn't shiver. So how much intelligence are you expressing? Right here we have 100% life expression. Okay? What's that mean? That means 100% intelligence, 100% force, 100% matter. Right here we have 0 life expression. What's that mean? It just really means either 0% intelligence, 0% force. The matter is irrelevant. So I ask you, what type of drug can we give to move you to a greater expression of life? What type of drug can we give you? What organ can we cut out of you to move you to a greater expression of life? Wouldn't that automatically move you back here? Now you have less matter in your body? Sure. So if intelligence is perfect and force is perfect, where's the imperfection? Matter. It has to be. Exactly. So here's the thing. Your parts are worth $17, right? When you're dead. When there is no intelligence being expressed through the matter. Here's what your raw materials are worth. But here's the thing. You guys come into my office. What are you saying? Oh, my back hurts. Oh, my prostate. I have my cancer. I got cancer. Okay? What are you talking about? Are you talking about life expression? Are you talking about dead stuff, parts? See, this goes back to the Age of Enlightenment, and I can talk about this in the orientation, that in the Age of Enlightenment, remember all the early healers were all witch doctors, shaman, Christ. They were all the early healers because they believed that there was an internal force in that body, a spirit. And then so all of a sudden in the Age of Enlightenment, we went strictly to science. We got rid of life completely because you can't measure it. You can't see it. And we started treating parts. This is where we're at today. And in medicine, we really have two tools. One is drugs, the other is surgery. Let's say you have a diseased gallbladder. You're having digestive issues, and you have a diseased gallbladder. And what that means is the cells in that gallbladder are so poorly organized. They are so disorganized that they are not allowing that bladder or the gallbladder to function properly. So I ask you, what type of drug or chemical can you give that body for that gallbladder to express more life? What about if you cut it out? How much life will the gallbladder express then? Right? So here's the thing, and you're like, and I know a lot of you guys are like, oh my gosh, though, but the medicine saved my mother's life from breast cancer. No, it didn't. It didn't save her life. She already was alive. It took off the matter. It didn't save any life. It can't give you a better expression of life. But if you're looking at parts, instead of the thing that is organizing them, you focus on just treating dead stuff. You deal in dead stuff. Understand, parts in your body, they are organized elements. Something has to hold them in active organization for them to work. And guess what? That's what we deal with as chiropractors. We don't deal in that. We deal in life. Life is the expression of intelligence through matter. Matter, it's dumb, it's dead. It doesn't do anything. But if you eat it, and your body turns it into living tissue, now it can do something. There's innate intelligence running that. So the question becomes, how do you organize the chemicals, the elements of the body, so they work better? Instead of trying to treat the parts, let's figure out how do we get more life, more intelligence into that organ so it functions more properly. And that's what chiropractors do. We don't deal in the futility of medicine. I am so thankful for emergency medicine. Because guess some of the things that your body can't adapt to. You get your arm cut off, right? Thank God for that. Or you've run your body so ragged that you develop a heart attack. Thank God you can get saved. But don't ever think that healing will ever come from that. Or life expression will ever come from that. I'm so thankful we got it. I'm so thankful that I don't use it. But it's there for me if I need it. So, how is intelligence transmitted in the body? How do you know if somebody's dead? Is it when they stop breathing? No. It's when the electrical system of the body dies. It's done. And intelligence only is flowing through The nervous system, that's right there. It's transmitted. Innate intelligence is transmitted from the brainstem to the body, to the brain, via this network of nerves. And that's what allows normal function. So since the nerves, however, are matter, they are not intelligence. They are not force. Guess what can be imperfect? The nerves. The system that is the conduit that is holding the flow of life. And that's what we deal with in chiropractic. When you come into the office, the symptom is irrelevant. The expression of life is a big deal to me, but the symptom is irrelevant. What we look for in chiropractors is a condition where the vertebrae shifts backwards, it damages the disc, it pinches the nerve, and it restricts the flow of life from the brainstem to the body and to the brain. And what happens when you restrict the flow of life, the flow of innate intelligence to those areas? They start to break down. You get a restricted flow. You get a restricted flow of innate intelligence into anywhere in the body. What happens is those organized cells start to become disorganized cells. The elements are not proper. It's not set up properly. And if that goes on long enough, you will develop a case that chiropractors call dis-ease, lack of ease. If lack of ease goes on long enough, you start to develop malfunction. Malfunction goes on long enough, you develop pathology and disease. That's at the very end state. That's the part. Imagine being, and anybody online watching or anybody in the room, that military service. I know we got a gentleman over here for sure. Thank you for all that you've done, but can you imagine what it would be like if a colonel was giving you orders, and you're a captain, colonel's giving you orders, and he's telling you what to do. He's telling you exactly where the enemy is, and you're getting that message. It's all garbled. You may actually win the battle, but you're going to take casualties doing it. Why? It's because you don't got clear communication. And that's the same thing that happens in the body. When you restrict the flow of intelligence to the body part, you are affecting it on an atomic level. You are affecting it that low, a cellular level. And when it becomes disorganized, and you have enough disorganized cells, now you have disorganized tissue, which creates disorganized function. What good does it do to treat the part instead of making sure that the intelligence is flowing to that area? And that's how healing happens. It happens with intelligence. So I was just thinking, what happens if we had that diseased gallbladder that I was talking about a while ago, and we got a new genetic code, and it's this genetic code in here that we're going to insert into this gallbladder is perfect. There is nothing wrong with it. It's absolutely perfect. What would happen to the gallbladder? Would it get better? It's matter.
Yeah. Matter
is finite. Matter doesn't get better. It's life that does it. So what happens? Yeah, your little boy has ear infections. Your little boy has ear infections. What's happening is he has subluxated. He has there's so much disturbance going into the middle ear cells that the middle ear cells are disorganized now, and there's bacteria around, and he can no longer fight off bacteria effectively. So he goes to the medical doctor. They give him antibiotics. You give a bacteria antibiotics. What's the bacteria do? Gets weaker, gets stronger. Stronger. Look where we're at right now. What's that do to the life of that? No difference. Kid comes in with ear infections. He gets a specific scientific chiropractic adjustments. He allows normal flow of intelligence from the brainstem to the body. Brainstem into the middle ear cells. What happens? Those bad ear cells, they're going to die off. Guess what his body's going to do? It's going to create new ones that function normally, that can withstand the bacteria. Now he doesn't have an ear infection. Okay? It's simple. It's expression of life. What about depression? Like, you're depressed. So what do? You're subluxated. You got a restricted impulse of life, of innate intelligence going into the intestines. And because of that, the intestines are now the cells of the intestines are disorganized. And because they're not organized properly, you start to have, they can't make the right amount of serotonin. And you can't make the right amount of serotonin, it's going to affect your mood. You go to your medical doctor, you use SSRI drugs. He doesn't tell you that some of the other effects of them are suicidal thoughts, mass shootings, just like in Florida. Come to your chiropractor, he finds out exactly where the innate intelligence is being blocked off. He gives a specific scientific chiropractic adjustment, gets connected back to the brainstem that is transferring innate. Innate can go now to the intestine cells, which are all going to die off, the bad ones. And they're going to be replaced by new intestine cells. And when you get when the life is flowing to those the intestine cells properly, you create proper intestine cells. Proper intestine cells make proper amounts of serotonin. It's that simple. You getting this? Makes sense? All right. We're about our time, guys. We're about 30 minutes into this. So you guys learned something new tonight. Well, I don't want to tell you guys what to think. I want you guys to see if it makes sense and evaluate it for yourself. A lot of you guys came tonight over here. Your thoughts of sickness, of weakness in your body. You're not going to get any better. You can't get any better. You're stuck right here in your patterns. But maybe tonight, when you start realizing the infiniteness of life, maybe it expanded your vision a little bit. Maybe now, instead of thinking, I got to get surgery, I got to do this, I need this drug, maybe now you're thinking, you know what? I have potential. I can do this. You know what? I'm excited about this. I am part of an infinite creation. This is incredible. So here's what to do. You guys want to do this? You guys want to feel where you're at? Get that vision in your head of where you want to be. You know, my kids are 2 years old and 6 months old now. When they're 20, me and Eric are going to be 62 here, right? Yeah. And that sucks, right? I'm going to be 62 years old. I gotta throw around 20-year-olds. My vision is not to be in a nursing home. What keeps driving me is that I want to be mobile throughout my life. And I am so attached to that I don't even think here. As a matter of fact, a lot of you guys came in last week, and you guys know I've been run down. You know, when you don't follow laws, my body breaks down too. And you're like, oh, you're sick. And what did I say to you guys? No, I'm not. I'm recovering. I'm getting better every day. I'm staying focused. You guys are trying to bring me back here. I know I'm feeling this stuff. You think I feel good? No. But you have to stay focused here. Look at me today. Look at the smile on my face. My eyes are white. They're not red anymore. I am so excited to be in here. But it wouldn't happen unless you stay focused on that. You guys learned something new. So what happens? What do you need to do to change? You need to get a burning desire of exactly who you want to be. Forget about this and stay over here. And what do? Once you get that so ingrained in you, you start being that person. What do? You start making wise decisions. You go to your chiropractor because you want to get checked, make sure that the nerve flow, that the intelligence is flowing through the body normally. What else do? You go back to your medical doctor and you say, hey, none of this stuff helps me express life any better. You put me on it, I want you to take me off it. Wouldn't that be a logical thing to get life expression better? You get proper rest, you start doing those things. Guess where you're going to be? Now, let me tell you something. You're going to start doing that, and you're going to be fired up for the first couple of days, right? And then what happens? There's a setback. And you start hurting again, or you get bummed out, or you get a little depressed, and you go back here. Stay focused on this over here. Do the things that you need to do. Okay? And eventually you'll get to that. So what is it that you need here? Chiropractic is a part of your life, man. Life expression is so important in your body. There is no other thing. Chiropractors are the only people that deal in the only healing art that deals in life. Okay? We don't deal in matter, we don't deal in parts, we deal in life. And you got to make sure that your neurology is functioning well enough that innate intelligence is being transferred to the body and to the brain, so cells organize themselves normally so you can live up to a higher expression of life. Okay? For all you guys that are offices and that you're in the office, some of you guys have been long-term patients. You're expressing a better quality of life, and I'm so happy that you guys are here, and I'm so happy that you're telling other people about chiropractic. I know patients all over the country, or I know chiropractors all over the country that I can refer to you guys. We're going to have a special for you guys that are not patients. If you would like to become, most everybody is my patient here, but anybody that's not, and I don't see anybody, maybe one or two, if you're not a patient in the office and you want to get seen, we always start with an exam and x-ray. It's anywhere between 190 to 225. There's a special tonight for you guys that are in attendance that want to do it. It's only $50. So if you want to see what's going on, how you're being blocked off with your life expression, please go see Belle in the back and she'll get you scheduled up, okay? Don't let $50, don't put $50 on, don't a value on your life. Your life is far greater than that. Your life is infinite. Don't let $50 stand in the way if it's something you believe in and this makes sense to you guys, okay? I love you guys. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. Guys, there is a lot of food out there. Please. If it doesn't go now, it's going on with me. Oh, that's right. You're lucky. I totally forgot about asking you to know that.
Thank you for dinner. Yeah, thanks for coming. It's really, really tasty.
Hey, that's Hey, what's happening? Good to meet you. Welcome into the office. And what's your?
What's your schedule is? Not this
Help people learn how to share.
Oh, you did it going out of town. And you
kids, and I want to go to offices.
Oh, okay.
Oh, for what? You going up to LA?
Wait, I don't deal with the joints. We have to. That's what we can touch.
Yeah.
Different way of looking at it.
What was that? You like it?
I'm glad I did not. Real quick question. Were it harm to sit in the heat? Or
I'm so sorry?
sit in the sauna to get some heat?
Why don't you sit in the sun, man? Get some vitamin D. You may need a little bit more time than I do. I mean, I burn, you know?
Oh, I burn, believe me.
If it makes you feel good, go for it. But definitely try to get some sun.
Okay. So you hear the man, no sauna tonight?
No, I didn't say that. I didn't.
That's what I heard.
Hey, it ain't gonna help you express intelligence better, all right? I'm sorry. So you got, Oh, yeah, get people that trust.
What do you get?
And then like 3 kids that are outside and that hasn't been talking about
Yeah, that's why we can do whatever's convenient for you guys. We're open. Okay, so
but at the end of the day, it's not really
yeah, that's it. Okay, I'll just print up the tickets and then I'll do you guys do.
Yeah, well, I make sure that the,
Oh, yeah, for sure. That's the purpose. Plus, third one. Right.
Oh my gosh, I was rolling in California. Look at you guys. Oh my God. That's straight. You should definitely raise it.
SeaWorld has a
All the
roller
coats I have.
they have the Atlantis, which is,
The Atlantis is pretty cool.
it's in water.
But they got a bigger one too, and towards the back.
Yeah, but
And that's the thing.
No.
No, that was not in water.
I mean, in fact, if you go off track, you'll
I could
be.
Yeah, so they have 2 of them that are kind of fast.
You like roller?
Yes.
Okay.
Neither.
But they don't understand some of the, like the kickbacks and stuff. It's really bad. So,
Oh, it's fake.
Roller coaster in the dark.
65 or how rolled and you can't do anything that he wasn't telling you.
Yeah.
Yes, yes,
It's like the most
Gotta go to chiropractor.
No, that's why you want to get.
yeah, and then it's, oh my gosh, it costs this much. Or why do I have to
That
pay
one
this
is
much?
really jerky. I would say that because you were, yeah.
This
Well,
many
we all
visits,
got
and we still
on
not get. It's
and
because
the
you,
one,
you know, when we get kids
the
in
mask on, if you put that mask on, so you feel like you're gonna
kids
feel
with
Nancy.
one adjustment, everything.
Oh, that was cool. I like that one.
Yeah.
And you get to shoot.
Constipated kids, they get 2 adjustments, they never have.
Very good.
I like
I cut this stuff
They're so
every
drowned, their bodies can bring in and I sweat.
I can tell you what's going on.
Oh.
Well, at least
But I think the generator for all these years.
they call it simulated.
First of all,
Oh, the hell.
I didn't talk about when they cut off the arm and it goes
Yeah.
Yeah.
But as you get older,
Yeah.
well, like,
You feel like
you know,
you're
your skin doesn't heal, it becomes less elastic, it doesn't heal like it did.
Yeah, yeah, 'cause I won't get on the really crazy ones with
Kids
my
that are
back.
young,
Throw it out again.
it's like, if you're spraying right, like the worst thing to do is just
Oh,
ignore
yeah.
it for 40
You're a
years.
big
There should be, you know,
Oh,
you
big
should see
fan?
a therapist that can help you out with that, making sure well, it's functioning as good as it's ever.
We got all screwed up.
Did you?
Pump up.
I said sitting down on
Man, I come back from
Runners all the
my
time.
legs come back in like 4 days.
Really?
They
Swimming around. You go, why do we even do that? How's this?
Well, the last time we went, it didn't have any snow.
Yeah.
But I know they got snow now.
I said, forget professional athletes, if I fall, that might be good. I said, well, I'll just take care of it. Sitting down on
That's
the
why,
sweat.
that's why.
Some
As bad
guys
as it
are
is,
down
they can
already
play
on the
for
ground.
football.
That didn't work?
You get a guy that
Okay, all right.
Sound like me.
has never worked out.
I
He's
tell
like,
her, I
"I'm
said,
doing 3 days on,
let's
1
go
day off."
camping and sleep under the
And,
stars. She goes,
not
"Is there a
taking
hotel
it.
nearby?" She goes, I can still.
Because he just said, you know what,
That's what I'm saying, dog.
Like Jay was talking about going to Africa and listening to the lion.
Oh, yeah.
Tigers and rhino.
Yeah, that's danger close there.
One of our relatives.
Yes.
Good that I wanted you to meet.
No, thank you.
The house that you have people that
This
need.
and that and.
Yes.
Leave it,
I don't wanna go to Alabama to see relatives. I don't know what they're
Oh,
gonna do.
Oh, yeah.
Wait a second, you're out there with Heidi.